seek new revenue sources. We made great strides. In fact, in the first phase of a business office consolidation plan, we merged 5 formerly independent business offices into one unit, reducing annual costs by $330,000 a year. We also simplified the purchasing and payment process with Mountaineer Marketplace, saving $100,000 on bank processing fees since July. Being accountable means working smarter. It also means hiring the very best people in the country and making them want to stay here. And that includes being prepared to pay for quality. It means, well, I think we, first of all, the university has determined that we want to do what we recommend to the state, which is to become very simple, very agile. And so we have taken, we're in the process of taking about $45 million out of our administrative structures to make ourselves better. My goal with everything that we do, it's not about budget reductions, it's about how do we contain costs and how do we increase quality. But the reality is the fact that as we prepared and as we are doing those things, we also need to understand that the state needs to engage in an investment strategy, and I made that very clear. Invest in the things that are going to be a great return on that investment. The most important thing in this state is education and keeping our people here and keeping our young people here. And when we move in a distinctive direction away from that, then we make a significant mistake. No one can define themselves into greatness by reducing their budgets willy-nilly. You have to be very careful about what you do. Support the things that are good and move in the direction of those things that are no longer sustainable, and that's the way you make choices. Well, I think eventually that everyone will get on the same page. We have an activist governor. We have legislators who are who I think are struggling through what they're trying to do. They want to do the right thing. But as you know, when there are a large number of individual voices, they have to gather their thinking together and eventually get there. I believe, though, and I really do believe this, that when finally that we come to a budget opportunity, a budget reconciliation, if you will, that they will support those things which are really the most important things to support in the state. Nothing, I will say this unequivocally, nothing is more important right now than the power and opportunity for economic growth in this state created by our university. We are the economic engine. We hire more people, we've created more economic activity, we have a greater return on state investments than anything else in the state. So you support the things that brought you to the dance, and then you don't dance with things that shouldn't be danced with. They have a 60-day process here, which I think is pretty civilized, actually, because I've been in states where they go on forever, and I like to sleep at night. And so I think that it's important for them to come to a conclusion, but we want to do it right. I mean, if they, in the end, you don't want to use the 60 days as a bludgeon to just get something done and get out of town. It has to be done right, and until that happens, then I would expect that they'll continue to have these conversations. But it is, there is a lot of conversation going on right now. Oh, no, quite the contrary. The governor and I see the world through exactly the same eyes. The point that he has made is the fact the university has given it the store. We have reduced our budget by about $30 million. Our state support is the lowest among any major university in the country. We've reduced our budgets. So anytime we have tried to keep our tuition in line, we've done a number of things. The governor's point is the fact that now we need to have some investment strategies, and higher education is one of his highest priorities. So he and I see the world the very same way. And by the way, we have reduced our budget by over $30 million, and we are already in the process of reducing it by another $45 million through our reallocation and our reinvestment. But I think that we have, and I spoke about it today because I believe that it's very strong. I believe that the university is the one place in which conversations need to take place, and in which all ideas need to be heard. Good, bad, awful, wonderful, Nobel Prize winning ideas, whatever it is. I think that that's what university should be about. And I believe in today's environment that the universities are really the one single place in which leadership can occur. And I believe that our university is doing that as well as any, or even better than most, because we've taken it seriously from the very beginning. And there's kind of a civility about this place. Even though we have students from 55 counties and 50 states and 110 countries, we do work very hard to make sure that in this issue of diversity, however you define it, that inclusion is equally important. And I think that we talk in this country a great deal about diversity, which I strongly believe in, but I also believe the other side of that coin, equally powerful, is inclusion. We've got to start talking with each other. We've got to stop getting out of our groups and out of our silos. And those conversations, I think, are incredibly important, and that's what's happening on our... Oh, yes, I am. You know, I do this crazy thing. I go out on Fridays and Saturday nights. You know, students are nocturnal animals, so I get out around 9:30 or 10 o'clock and have a couple of students that go with me, and we go and visit a number of the areas. And, yeah, I mean, students, you know, what I believe about our university, which I think is a powerful reason for success, and that is the fact that our students are really discovering that what we need to do, we need to work smart and play smart. And you need to have a balance, and so I think our students are working very hard toward a balance. I think our university is working very hard toward a balance. I want to be at a place in which people celebrate, in which they have a good time. I want to make sure that it doesn't cross the line, but I don't want to say to people that there's a right way and a wrong way. There are good ways, and we're really trying to find those good ways. Take a look at the transformation of the city. I mean, when I lived here, when I was president of the university in 1980, between the university residence and downtown was Sunnyside. I mean, I sometimes felt I needed to have a police escort going through there. But now it's just a wonderful place in which you can really get a sense of purpose about what the university is. You know, the community has changed dramatically, and the way we think about ourselves has changed, and the way that we organize ourselves has changed. And a lot of that is how people start to think about themselves, is when the university is so much more powerfully present, then that makes a difference in terms of the culture. Listen, we're going all the way. You know, I mean, what are you asking me? Of course, now I won't watch the game tomorrow night for two reasons. One, I'm going to be at a lecture, and number two, even if I weren't at the lecture, I wouldn't watch, because I am a nervous watcher. I cannot watch. I didn't watch them play Notre Dame. I got an update at the end. I shut off my telephone, so we'll be fine. You know, Gonzaga is a very fine team, but we have one of the best coaches in the country, and we have great young men playing.